If you haven't already heard, Anchor by Spotify is the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Let me explain. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. So download the app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hello, you're listening to Got Clutter, Get Organized, the podcast that focuses on helping you create space to attract more money, love, and happiness in your life. I am your host, Janet M. Taylor, and I want to say hello if you're a regular listener, and welcome if you're listening for the very first time. I hope you're having a great week, and if you enjoy listening to this podcast, please leave a review so I can continue bringing you episodes each and every week. I am excited to share. If you don't already know, you can support this podcast by clicking the Buy Me a Coffee link in the show page, and I will give you a shout out on the air. Well, I'm excited because it's back to school time, and in this episode, a fellow professional organizer, Sharonda Weston of UTurnspaces, will be sharing just how we can organize those kids' rooms with some tips as they head back to school. I will also be sharing my product, app, repurpose, and book suggestion for this week. And my question for you this week is, are your kids organized? I mean, a lot of you out here probably have some organized children, so I would love to know that. But before I bring on Sharonda, this is something that I found out. Over 295.8 million kids will be returning back to school, and this is K-12 in the United States. 295.8 million children, which is why I need to bring on an expert. Sharonda Weston is the owner of UTurnspaces. She started helping family and friends decorate their homes in the early 2000s, and after years of helping, decided to start her own business in 2012. Sharonda is an accredited staging professional and started off by helping realtors stage and decorate clients' homes for sale. She soon realized most clients needed help decluttering and organizing before the staging process, and soon added those services. Sharonda now provides decluttering, organizing, interior decorating, and staging services to her clients in and around Charlotte, North Carolina, and also travels to other states to work with them as well. So I believe you need to get your tablet, your pen, your paper, because Sharonda really provides not only some great tips to help your kids organize, but some of us adults can use those tips as well. Well, listeners, it is back to school time. And of course, I know at some point you got to go in there, you got to tackle your children's room, which is why I brought on an expert, a fellow professional organizer, Sharonda Weston of UTurnspaces, to just tell us about some strategies. One, to really kind of get rid of what we probably are holding on to that we no longer need, but also just on how to organize that space for the coming new year. So Sharonda, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
So before we get into the strategies and all that, what made you decide to become a professional organizer?
Well, I started off actually as a stager. I started staging and then doing interior decorating for realtors. And a few months in, I had a few realtors come and say, well, can you help them declutter and organize prior to you staging? And I was like, okay. I guess I can do that. I've always been pretty organized as a kid and growing up, even though I didn't know that's what I was doing. And so it just kind of came natural. And so I just did research, just studied a little bit on it, and then just came natural. So it's pretty much how I got into it, messing with a few realtors.
And that was your entry into the wonderful world of organizing, which is why you are here today. So it's back to school. And at
Mm-hmm.
some point, parents have to tackle the room. So what
Yes.
are some things that maybe are in the kids' rooms, kids' areas that maybe parents need to think about, you know what, it's time to let it go?
I would definitely say number one, and most people know this, but it'd be clothing that no longer fit. A lot of times we'll hold on. I mean, you're starting a new school year, go ahead and get rid of those items that might be too small, that might be worn. Believe it or not, that might be too big. It just depends on what it is, but definitely I would say clothing that they do not wear, because sometimes we got clothes and they don't necessarily like them, but we leave them things in their closet. That's not a good thing. It's just taking up space. So you have to be realistic in that aspect as well. I would also say non-age appropriate items, meaning if they're going into the 5th grade, why do you still have a 2nd grade book in there? Why do you still have puzzles or coloring books from when they were in 3rd grade or even 4th grade? It just depends. So, you want to eliminate what they're not using and make sure you make room for what they will be using and what they need. So definitely non-age appropriate items, toys, things like that. Also family things, because what happens is a lot of times we have kids and they'll have space in their room. So we'll put extra linen or extra, I don't know, photo albums or something like that in there. That's also telling the child that that's really not their room. So you want to make sure that the child has only in their room what they need. So get rid of those things that's not necessarily theirs. Mama, don't put extra clothes in their closet because they have room. Things like that. So, and then also you want to just make sure that they have a space that's theirs, that as they grow throughout the year, there's available space for what they're growing into. So, yeah.
That was, oh my goodness, when you started talking about but it's so true. I mean, we see it all the time. It's like they have that little extra space. Oh, I'm going to put sheets, photo albums, and
Mm-hmm.
really that doesn't belong because then it doesn't feel like their room. But then when you touched
Exactly.
on the clothes, I remember a client called me and she had two sons, and
Mm-hmm.
she said, Janet, I need you to help them because if I do it, it's going to be yelling, screaming, and crying.
Yep.
And what we discovered, because the younger one, she was frustrated because the younger one wasn't hanging up his clothes. But in
Mm-hmm.
the process of organizing, I realized he's not hanging up his clothes because he doesn't have any hangers.
Oh,
Because
wow.
and it was,
Wow.
and plus he was getting so much of his older brother's clothes. I said, you're not accommodating for all of that space you need because he had a lot of stuff. And like you said,
Mm-hmm.
the age appropriate stuff. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Those were some great tips, listeners. So I hope you were
Yep.
taking notes. And if not, you can always listen to it again. So how are some ways that parents can help their children be more organized in their spaces?
I think one that's very important is to create zones within their bedroom. So if it's their bed, let it be their sleeping zone. Don't put a whole bunch of stuff on there or allow them to have a lot of stuff on there that don't belong there. Sleeping area, play area, a reading area, homework area. Create those zones so they'll know when they come in, oh, this is my desk. I'm going to hang my backpack up on the back of my chair because this is where I do homework. This is where I sleep. Oh, these are my toys. They go over here. I don't need to have 100 teddy bears on the bed because the bed is for sleep. My teddy bears don't go over in the toy section in a basket or a bin or something like that. So they can start to identify those zones, and then they can hopefully start to work to stay within those zones, which will hopefully help them keep their room a little bit clean. So zones, definitely. Space in a closet where they can hang group of clothings for like the week. Now, they have like the hanging baskets with the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. If that works, great. If not, you can get even something as simple as, say, some cedar blocks, and you separate, okay, from here to here, when you're closed for the week. Not necessarily Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but say these are your clothes for the week that you can pick out whenever you want to go. So, you definitely want to look at the weather just to make sure. But you don't have to say, okay, on Monday, you have to wear this. On Tuesday, these are 5 outfits. This week, this is what you wear. And it could be something really simple, separating those items so they can go and get it really quick from the rest of the stuff that's in their closet, say for the weekend or for outings or something like that. So definitely that. I will also say bins and baskets to separate things like school supplies within drawers and within like the zones that you've created. And so bins and baskets are very, very big for toys or for, like I said, school supplies, things like that. Those are big. Also, believe it or not, having things like trash can, a recycling can, a laundry basket. So they know they start to go to those different places, as well as a Goodwill or giveaway basket. Because a lot of times that's not necessarily for the kid because they don't want to get rid of stuff. But if you have something that you could say is going to be Goodwill, when you see that he outgrew that, or she can no longer wear it, or she doesn't wear it, you can start to put that stuff in there and it's right in their room. So we go ahead and say, okay, this is all the Goodwill stuff. So things like that. Also, I would say a shower caddy. So even if they have their own bathroom, right? You can take the shower caddy and put it in their bathroom, but it has all their essentials, their hair products, their bathing products. If they're a little bit younger, maybe some toys or something that they put in it. But when they know in the morning they're rushing, they know everything that I essentially need is within this caddy. When it starts to get low, you can refill that caddy. So that'll just save a little bit of time in the mornings as well as we talk about getting back into school.
I love the idea of where you said how to organize their clothes just for the week, not necessarily each individual day, because then that allows them to have a little bit of control over,
Yep.
what they're going to wear, to give them that little bit of
Yeah.
individuality. But I also like what you said about the recycling bin in the bedroom, because how many
Yep.
times you go in the bedroom, you see the empty bottles, this, that, and the other, and it also gets them in the habit of knowing what to do as
Exactly.
well. Oh my goodness. And then
Exactly.
of course the shower caddy too.
Yeah.
That's good. Because then they're not looking for, well, where's my, and it's like,
Because
well,
it's
you
right
had
there.
it. Yeah, and it's right there. That is so good.
Yep.
So Sharonda, with all that you do, with your family, your own personal life, your business, your clients, probably in the community, how do you stay organized?
Pretty much the same tips that I just gave. I have something called a shower caddy, but it's just like a turntable. And so everything that I sent you, I just have a clear plastic turntable, say in my bathroom on the counter, and it has all of my essential items there for morning and night. And so my perfumes are there, things like that, that's still there. And I have to remember to organize and to declutter on a regular basis. And so it's not like one and done. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that you have to refresh. You have to. And so for me, a lot of people say, well, I have to clutter. And my friends will look at me and like, what you decluttering? Like, what you mean? And I'm just like, because if you do it on a regular basis, you won't have to do it in as tenfold or on a large scale. And so I'm constantly going through my closet and I'm being realistic about what I want, where I'm going in the future. Does it suit me now or in the near future? Sizes, a lot of times we keep sizes because we're like, oh, I'm gonna get back into that. No, you're not. Stop playing. You're not going to 9 times out of 10. And if you do, then you can rebuy it at that time. But you're taking away valuable space for just in case stuff. So I have to refresh. I have to remember the same rules. It's not easy for me. No, my house is not clean all the daggone time, but at least once a week or every couple of days, I'm spot cleaning. I'm spot checking everything that's going on to make sure. Because when you have a cluttered mind or a cluttered space, your life is cluttered. And so I'm constantly doing that to make sure that everything flows. So I have to use the same tactics, same tips and tactics that I give to my clients.
And I'm glad you mentioned about the clothes, because you're right. Sometimes people hold on to clothes and you're like, I'm going to get back into it. But I was sharing with a friend. I said, you know what? I decided that I can't fit back into them. I
Yep.
know what I would have to do in order to fit back into it, and I'm not going there. So
Exactly.
I'm just going to get rid of it. No, you need to keep
Yep.
it just in case. Like you said, that's valuable. That is valuable
Yep.
space that you were taking up for something you're not using. Well, Sharonda,
Exactly.
it has been a pleasure talking to you. So let the
You as
listeners know
well.
how they can get in touch with you.
You can visit me on social media, IG and Facebook at the letter UTurnspaces with an S. You can also visit my website, www.uturnspaces.com. And I look forward to hearing from you guys.
And of course, listeners, I will have a direct link to our guest Sharonda's website on the show page. Well, Sharonda, thank you
Yes.
so much for your time
You're
again.
welcome. Thank you.
So what nugget did you walk away with? after listening to my interview with Sharonda, there were a couple things. The zones are a really great idea, but also just laying out the clothes for the week, not necessarily for the day, but just the outfits for the week. That was an awesome tip. So I would love for you to put what your takeaway was from the interview, either in the link below on social media, or you can always leave me a voicemail when you go directly to the show page. So now some tips from Taylor's Tip Time that I just want to kind of follow the lead of Sharonda. Number one, create a space for their backpack. So whether they have a space in their bedroom or a space near the entryway. Number two, a hook for the keys and the school ID. It's nothing like trying to find all that stuff when they're trying to get out the door. Number three, a place for them to place any paperwork you need to review or sign. I've seen some mothers, they have those magazine boxes in the kitchen, on the kitchen counter, and when the kid comes home, it's sort of like the inbox. So create that so that way you can stay on top of trips, on top of anything that you need to be informed of. Number four, get them a calendar or a planner. Depending on the age, they can have just a monthly calendar on the wall, or either if they're older, you can get them a planner. And number five, have a weekly meeting to help them plan for the next week. So if they've got projects, school trips, assignments, all of those things, that can kind of help them on their journey to being more organized. So, as a professional organizer, I see firsthand what happens when people don't organize their life, and I want to help you. I now offer products to help you digitize those important documents as well as organize them so they can be protected. So, of course, there'll be links in the show page for that, but also I help clients just really better manage all that paperwork, because when you manage your paperwork, you can really manage your life. You know how much money you have, you know how much protection you have, you also know how your health is as well, because all of that is nicely organized. From your estate documents, medical information, and property information. So go to my contact page, click the link, schedule a 15-minute session with me so we can take the steps necessary and talk about what are some of the things that you need to organize so you can truly live an organized life. So please check that out as well. So of course, I want to thank you for following me on social media, for your likes, your retweets, for your sharing. Please continue to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. And of course, make sure you check out my YouTube channel as well. And on Pinterest, I have boards. Kids can be organized, ADHD organizing, college life, and more. And of course, make sure when you go to my YouTube channel, you will subscribe to it and also check out my website as well. And of course, for all you ladies out there, if you're thinking of getting your life organized, don't get overwhelmed. Join my Facebook group, Living Life Totally Organized. It's a community of women supporting each other on their journey to living a life that is totally organized. It's free to join. So why not get started today? Right now, it's the summer month, so the conversation is a little quiet, but I plan on revving things up in the fall. So please join us over there. And it is what time is. I'm going to give you a chance to kind of get your little dance on. What time is it? It is Toss It Tuesday time, and it's time to kind of toss all the schoolwork and paperwork from last school year they do not need. My app suggestion is remember the milk, because that can keep everyone connected in the family. My product suggestion are back of the door organizers. They don't take up a lot of space, and it will help them begin their journey to living an organized life. They can put school supplies, they can put toys, they can put socks, you name it. My repurpose suggestion is taking old jars, bringing out the creativity in the kids, and having jars so they can place their pens, their pencils, their markers. And I've even seen people take old cereal boxes and create things. Allow kids to be creative by creating things that can keep them more organized. My book suggestion for this week is Organizing from the Inside Out for Teens. Check that out. And of course, you can get a free copy and a free 30-day trial from Audible. Again, you can get a free copy of that book and a free 30-day trial from Audible. Just click the link in the show page. So my quote for you this week is, you have organizing abilities in you and you can easily teach your kids organizing skills, even if you don't feel like an organized person. This is from the Organized Mama. Again, you have organizing abilities in you and you can easily teach your kids organizing skills, even if you don't feel like you're an organized person. So I truly want to thank you again for listening. Be sure to share this podcast with your family, friends, and on your social media. And if you do tag me, again, let me know and you enjoy listening to this podcast by leaving a review and supporting this podcast by buying a cup of coffee. And of course, you can always visit my website at www.janetmtaylor.com. Until next time, you have a clutter-free day. But most of all, you have an organized week. Organization is a quintessential element of a clutter-free life. Join me as we take this journey together. Along the way, we will find the necessary answers to your organizing dilemmas. My name is Janet M. Taylor, and you are listening to Got Clutter, Get Organized.